Well, I have to say that while it may not be one of the best movies I've seen so far this year, it is quite enjoyable, especially considering that this movie is both for kids and adults. I must admit, going into this one, I had low expectations because I didn't know if this one was going to be worth the time. And I can certainly say this is definitely worth watching. So the story of this one is that a young girl named B, she's going through a difficult time in her life when she begins to see everyone's imaginary friends who have been forgotten about by their real life friends who have grown up. Now, to be honest here, the first act definitely is the slowest part of the film. Not to say this is a bad movie or anything, but I get that this is really marketed towards children. But at the same time, adults can watch this and enjoy what it was like being a kid themselves. If anything, at least this movie didn't get convoluted. At least the plot is easy to follow, some interesting characters, and overall the acting is pretty good in my opinion. Nonetheless, while not a great movie in my opinion, there is still enough here where it's quite entertaining, and especially it is a lot of fun for the whole entire family. Now, one of my issues with this film is that I didn't really find it funny. Maybe because my sense of humor has changed throughout the years, but I really felt like the character development wasn't that great. Plus, I really feel like this movie will appeal more to adults. And the reason I say that is because, well, there are some moments within this one that's going to get lost on the kids. Kids, they like to watch movies that entertain them. And I really feel like this one, yeah, they'll enjoy it, but they're not going to get the larger concept here. Kelly Fleming, her acting is great here. And this was really the first major thing I saw her in, her big role. I didn't see her in The Walking Dead, but I heard she's great in that show. And her character is interesting because if it wasn't, then this whole film would have fallen apart. Her acting with Ryan Reynolds actually what makes the movie as well. And sure, speaking of which, Ryan Reynolds, he's not his usual charismatic self. That's probably a good thing because had he been his usual self, then maybe it wouldn't have worked for a movie like this. John Krasinski, he has a small role as a dad. He does a good job here. I kind of feel like he wrote himself in the script because, well, if you take that character out of this one, then the movie, largely the story of it wouldn't have been affected all that much. But it was cool seeing their imaginary friends, seeing the cinematography, the CGI. Yeah, I had definitely liked this movie to a certain degree. But I really would have a difficult time coming back to this because I really felt like there was a lot of missed potential, especially by the ending. At the end of the day, this film has its positives, and while it does have a few issues here and there, for the most part, a lot of people are going to enjoy this, but there's also going to be some people who didn't think this was great at all. I'm giving this film a 7 out of 10. One of the things I did like about this one is that how it touches upon losing that childlike innocence and growing up and dealing with adulthood. A lot of us have been there before. We remember what it was like being a kid. Life was much easier, and thing is that everybody grows up. They all go through the trials and tribulations of adulthood. And I at least appreciate that this film did look at those themes. It just wasn't deep enough to be thought-provoking. And that is my review of If. Alright, leave your comments down below in the section and let me know what you think about this movie if you have seen it. Okay, this is Slim Guy 172 saying peace out.